Download the AllStar app. Make your picks for UFC fights, challenge your friends, level up and win prizes. Link in description. Get it now. UFC Macau, main event. Petr Yan and Deiveson Figueiredo had one of the best fights in recent memory. That, you know, just high level.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what MMA is going to look like in 5 years. Like, they're going to be just high level all across the board.
Yeah, that was awesome.
It was.
Super entertaining. Good display of striking, wrestling defense, like submission attempts from Figueiredo's like position, and Yan fighting them off. So like it was kind of like a master class in all of the different components of MMA. Like that was really cool to watch.
Yeah, you know, Figueiredo, you know, he got a taste of what the highest level at bantamweight looks like, feels like, tastes like, whatever you want to call it.
Yep.
And yeah, and Petr Yan proved with this performance that he is still championship level. Now, Petr Yan, obviously he wants to fight Merab for the title next.
Right.
And Merab says, you know, he responded by saying, let's go, let's fucking go. But that's just, you know, banter online.
Right.
Because there's a list of contenders, right, that could possibly fight Merab next. Nothing is sealed yet, right? So they're still trying to figure it out. The rumors right now are that Sean O'Malley and Merab will rematch in February or March. That's just the rumors right now.
Okay.
Like, because Sean O'Malley's sitting at #1.
Right.
And most people, that what they want to see is they want to see Umar fight for the title, you know, undefeated. Like a lot of people feel like he's maybe the uncrowned champ. And then you got Petr Yan sitting at #3.
Okay.
Right? Like, those are the options. You got O'Malley, Nurmagomedov, and Yan. Who do you go with? Because you saw the fight that Merab had with Sean O'Malley.
Right.
You saw the fight that Merab had with Petr Yan. We haven't seen Umar fight Merab.
Right.
Who do you choose?
I think Umar is like the most logical choice here because Merab's already beaten the other two. And then, although I wonder if the UFC hesitates on that one. Because like he is a rising star, doesn't seem to have the same kind of like visibility yet. So like, so if they try to build up his brand or his visibility or his image a little bit more before they get that fight set up, I'm not sure what they're thinking behind closed doors, but from like skill level of this fighter and achievements and stuff, it makes sense for Umar to fight Merab, I think.
Well, you know, Umar hasn't fought any of those guys.
Yeah, it's like for him to be ranked that high without having fought some of the other like top ranked guys.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, you know, obviously probably says a lot about how people think about him as a fighter. But yeah, it's like, does he have to get a few more fights in against some of the best so then he can really establish his title shot? Or like, because there are some other interesting matchups outside of the title shot in that division, I feel like. So like, well, let's see, Peter's beaten Sandhagen already, but like, I'm trying to think. So it's like, if Cejudo is still fighting, there are some interesting matchups in there. Like, I don't think we've seen a Yan versus Cejudo, for example. I know we're not talking about Merab in that matchup, but or like Umar versus Cejudo. I don't know where Cejudo gets ranked after, I think it's either 2 or 3 consecutive losses after he came back out of retirement. So like, obviously Merab clearly #1, like, and has earned it for sure in that weight. That's an interesting one where it is it's actually a really good question. Who's kind of up next for their title shot against Merab?
Well, Umar, his last win was against Corey Sandhagen.
Oh, that's who it was. Oh, right, okay.
That's the top, you know, the highest ranked guy. He beat #4. That's why he's #2.
Okay.
Basically.
Right.
And it was a big test against Corey Sandhagen. It did really well. Corey Sandhagen, you know, that was a good fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like Umar, you got to give him the shot because like you said, Merab already beat O'Malley.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like it was a close fight. It wasn't like the most entertaining fight, but it wasn't it wasn't a close fight.
Right.
O'Malley just didn't look like, himself.
Yeah.
And it almost felt like maybe that grappling style is O'Malley's kryptonite, and
Yeah.
and we might never see him win the title again because all the guys
are
grappling. They can grapple, like Peter Yan.
Peter Yan.
He was robbed in that fight against O'Malley. A lot of people believe that.
Yeah.
Peter Yan, against Sandhagen, that was an incredible. Peter Yan is always in crazy fights.
Oh yeah.
So I agree with you. I think Umar, you should give him the shot against Merab. A lot of people say Merab is ducking Umar. I doubt that. I think the UFC, they tell the champions what to do.
I think so.
Yeah, you fight. There's a reason why you're the champion, because you could beat everybody in the world.
Yeah, it's like there's got to be this willingness to fight everyone in the world if you want to be a champ, right? And so it's just like, but obviously the issue is also you can only fight one person at a time, and then you've got to be recovered enough to, fight all these high level fighters. So then you need the recovery time too, of course. But like, yeah, at that level you can't really be. You can't be a champ for very, very long if you're like ducking people left and right. Like you cannot strategically have multiple title defenses if you're trying to duck people. It just like doesn't make sense.
It doesn't. And if we talk about like matching up Merab versus Umar early next year, right, for the title fight, and I think you should match up Sean O'Malley versus Peter Yan for the rematch. Because that was a controversial fight.
Yes.
A lot of people thought Yan won that fight. I want to see that fight again.
Yeah.
And you can make it 3 rounds. You can put it on the same card. You know what I mean? Imagine having the top 4 fighters in the world at bantamweight on the same card.
That's pretty badass.
In early 2025.
That's an entertaining weight, too.
Oh, very entertaining, right? And when we go look back at... and the reason why I say Peter Yan not fighting Merab right away is because Merab already beat him, right? And if you look at the circumstances of that fight, Peter Yan went in there with like multiple injuries, serious injuries, and they were told to pull out.
Yeah, he was not healthy, but wanted to fight anyways.
Yeah, that's just Peter Yan. He's not going to pull out a fight, right?
Yeah.
Like, he's going to have a broken neck or something to pull out, right? So, Merab versus Umar, and then Peter Yan, O'Malley rematch. And I think that will be a good fight. And O'Malley gets to prove that the first fight wasn't a fluke. And whoever wins that fight should fight for the title next. So Merab versus Umar, whoever wins that fight can fight the winner of O'Malley Yan too. I think that works out perfectly for next year. But everything's timing and like, there's injuries and then there's scheduling and there's Ramadan. Early year, like, so if Umar fights, he has to fight probably before Ramadan.
Yeah.
Like right before, and I think Ramadan's March, maybe. I'm not for sure.
That's about right. Yeah.
Yeah, around that time, right? So if they fight in February, that's a good schedule for them. I think those are the fights to make. Corey Sandhagen, you kind of keep him in the barrel or in the chamber.
Yep.
To kind of fill in any of these fights if they fall through. You know what I mean? You could kind of like shift them through. Like Merab, let's say you set up Merab, Umar, and then, someone gets injured. Then you move up like O'Malley and you put O'Malley against Umar. O'Malley against... Whatever is the better matchup, right?
Yeah.
Because all those, stylistically, those matchups, they're not good for O'Malley.
Right.
None of them.
True, yeah.
Actually, Sandhagen is probably the best stylistic matchup for O'Malley. And if I was O'Malley, I would be pushing for the Sandhagen fight if I'm not fighting for the title. Because there's also rumors that Merab's going to fight O'Malley for the title. Well, I said that earlier, right? But people are pushing for Umar.
Right.
And then there was this whole thing about Umar was scheduled with Song Yadong, but that wasn't a real matchup. There's so much fake news in MMA, and like it's almost like you just don't pay attention to it until it's announced by the UFC.
Yeah.
Or the fighters are saying it, right?
Yeah, people jump on headlines so quickly. It's crazy.